Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And we are labouring a point here about the hate crime bill, but of course we've already got a hate crime act. There are certain things, and we mentioned one yesterday where the police can come, knock on your door, investigate a hate crime, say there's no crime, but still record it. And of course this is something that's going through at the moment, and people are complaining. Murdo Fraser, for example, we did a story yesterday, is trying to get something he said, because he got a hate crime incident, a non-crime hate incident recorded because he dared to criticise Hamza Yousaf's government. And he's saying this is completely wrong, shouldn't be able to do this. So this is even before the new hate crime comes in. There's all these non-crime hate incidents that are happening, and the police are bogged down with them now. How bad is it going to get come Monday? So we're going to take a look at this to show exactly how bad it is and then what we can look forward to. And it's astonishing. I had no idea until I read this how bad the problem already is and how much time is already wasted recording these hate incidents. It's massive. Here goes. So, Police Scotland wasting time by recording thousands of hate incidents which are not even crimes. Now remember, this is under the current legislation. Just wait till Monday when they have to not only record them, but investigate them. It's stunning, because all of a sudden they will not just be incidents, they may well be crimes. And who decides? Well, I do, you do, that person over there does. Certainly doesn't need any proof. You just say, and that's it. It's a terrible law, and that's why we've got to beat it. And it's things like this which help us beat. So let's go through. We'll just have a quick look at this. I'm not going to go into depth, but just to give you an idea of how much time will be used up by policemen. And if we can do this, this is when the police will have to go back and say, no, it's unworkable and it's unpoliceable. And once they have that, then it's basically going to come off the books. So police will no longer investigate around 1 in 20 actual crimes in Scotland, such as theft or vandalism. But officers are recording currently hate speech that caused offence but wasn't criminal. That's because it's not a crime to be offensive. Being offensive, I say, is not just not a crime. I believe it's an obligation. You should be offensive because you should be able to offend that with which you disagree. Scottish police chiefs are under fire after clocking up more than 5,500 controversial non-crime hate incidents in less than a year, it can be revealed. Latest data shows that Police Scotland recorded 5,587 non-crime hate incidents where offence may have been caused but no actual crime committed between April and December. This is thought to include the complaint against Scots Tory MSP Murdo Fraser. Now, just because you've been offended doesn't mean somebody's broken the law. And if you are the sort of person who's offended very easily, then boy, you have got a terrible, sad life, haven't you? Because if you don't have a thick enough skin that you can just listen to someone say something and go, all right then, and say something back or tell them to FRO or whatever, then, why would you be so thin-skinned? Are you that incapable? You're such a snowflake. You're that incapable of dealing with life. You need to have lived in the 70s, mateys. Anyway, the new quarterly police performance report, which went before the Scottish Police Authority this week, shows an increase of 1,814 incidents in the last 3 months recorded. The number of non-crime hate incidents recorded in the year to date is 656 higher than the number of actual hate crimes. NCIHIs are also up 4.9% compared with the 5-year average of 5,327, while recorded hate crimes are actually down 3%. So if your hate crimes are falling, why do we need a hate crime bill? The news has led to allegations that Police Scotland, at the centre of claims that they are surrendering to criminals by declaring a hands-off policy for low-level crime, is spending far too much time policing free speech and Twitter spats. Yeah, I mean, basically, if you're a policeman and someone says, but the bad man said some naughty words, what you should, the correct response, and I apologise in advance for my language, but it's anyway, when someone comes to you and says that, the correct response for the police is to say, why don't you fuck off and grow up, you silly little child? And then leave it at that. And then maybe, who knows, they will. Anyway, critics say their pick-a-mix approach to tackling crime will open the floodgates for criminals to act with impunity, and that the practice of tracking NCHIs has led to a database of people whose speech is perceived as motivated by hostility to race, religion, sexual orientation, disability, or transgender status. So I'm going to tell a joke about, let's have a look. It's a black, Jewish, gay, one-legged tranny. Right? There we go. Now, he walks into a pub. It walks into a pub. They walk into a pub. And the barman says, what would you want to drink? Or whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not even going to tell a joke. It's not even funny, and it would get me in trouble. But the point is, you won't be able to tell that joke. It's going to be thin at the fringe, isn't it? No comedians. To be fair, it's been a while since you've had any good ones. Anyway, Scottish Conservative Deputy Justice spokeswoman Sharon Dowie said, SNP savage cuts have meant our police now won't investigate certain crimes across the country, so the public will be alarmed to see such a rise in the recording of these incidents. They expect the focus to be on protecting their communities from crime, not recording incidents which are not crimes by their own admission. However, given the force is merely following guidelines, then the ministers who centralise Scotland's police force must be upfront about how much time is being spent on handling these matters. What they want to do is effectively stop people criticising the government and Islam. That's what this hate crime bill is for. It's a pointless thing because everything within it is covered already with existing law. But there is no Blasphemy Act, and that's, of course, what Humza wanted. So we're there. But if you're getting 5,500 crimes under current legislation, how many more are you going to get? Because first of all, you're going to get all the woke brigade looking for offence at every single turn. So they will be straight on it. And then, of course, there's what we are going to do, which is report every time a politician speaks hate speech and report that. The poor police. And I do know that the vast majority of them are decent people and they're going to be bogged down. But it is the only way this works. So we've got to actually do this to the police. Sad as it is, but it won't last long, just until the law is repealed, which won't take long at all. Not when Humza Yousaf keeps getting knocks on the door. But with 5,500 under current law, it's a joke. We'll be doing 5,500 a day, mind. That's a different thing. Anyway, Caroline McAllister of Women Won't Whoosh said they had serious concerns about the hate crime legislation, saying, we know that bad faith actors will abuse this legislation in order to silence women defending our rights. We know that's going to happen. The legislation effectively gives more powers to the police around hurtful words, and anyone who thinks it won't be abused is naive or ignorant of the disparity in treatment women face within the judiciary. Julie Marshall, who was assaulted by a trans activist last year. This was the woman who stood there, and there was a man in a frock, hit her, drew blood, and it all happened in front of the policeman. The policeman did not arrest the tranny because he thought he'd look a bit phobic if he did that. So he took this bloke away and said, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." And then when she complained, he threatened to arrest her for breaching the peace by complaining loudly. She's the victim here, not Brenda in a frock or whatever his real name is. Anyway, the legislation, it said, effectively gives more powers to the police around hurtful words, and anyone who thinks it won't be abused is either naive or ignorant. Anyway, yes, Julie Marshall, that's where we got to. Julie Marshall, who was assaulted by a trans activist last year with her attacker shockingly being let off by the police, is absolutely correct in her assertion that Police Scotland are becoming a force that investigates harsh words but not violent deeds. That's because they are craven. They're scared. They are scared to be politically seen as being politically incorrect. Oh, we must not investigate someone of colour because we might be seen as racist. We can't investigate someone in a frock in case we're seen as transphobic. What we got to do, cars. Words and drivers. That'll be it. Words and drivers are the only people in Scotland who are going to get screwed by this law. Perhaps a more effective way to address non-hate crimes is to bin the legislation that, quite frankly, isn't for purpose. And if it is a non-crime hate incident, it's the first two words, non-crime. You go, yeah, no, crime hasn't been committed. Piss off. And never, ever, ever, people, never, ever, if a policeman comes to your door, never let them in. Make them stand outside and say, you are not coming in. You can stand there, and I am not giving you any right of access to my property. And make them stand in the street, and even if it's raining, snow, it doesn't matter. Stand there with them, and then talk to them. You stand inside, they stand there, and make sure every time, phone up, recording. They don't like it, but screw them. Record everything, and make them stand outside. Do not let them in, and make sure you have witnesses. Go and get neighbours, friends, relatives, stand there with you. And witness everything that they're saying and record it. Because you may need it, especially with the new hate laws coming in. So make sure of that. Anyway, we shall leave that one there. We shall come up, round off and finish this video. It should go without saying as well, always deny. Denial is policy. Denial is the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Did you call this person that? Did you say that? Did you do... No. 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 And if I said, well, he said you did. You said, well, it's an interesting accusation, officer. You have proof of this, do you? Or are you just fishing? No, he's being obnoxious. He's saying these things because the law is such that he thinks he can get away with it. But it's not true. It's simply not true. And deny it. And then when they take you to court eventually, and you've recorded it, you say, may I play this? And then you walk free. Because burden of proof and shit. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And I will be with you later. Bye.